Jeez. It looks like this injury list just keeps getting longer and longer by the week. And Jesus, it is just getting crazy now. I mean, to maintain what you have to maintain for the season, it's next man up mentality. I understand it's the New York Jets, and that's what everybody's going to say, but I am not overstepping this team at all. There's no reason they should lose this game Sunday. We got some news on the trade deadline as well, and we have a big issue at the safety position.
We better turn. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
As we go through this week, we've pretty much been trying to figure out, like, who's going to be playing in this game on Sunday. Like I said, the list keeps getting much larger every single week when it comes to these injuries, and I don't know. It's just getting crazy now. So you're kind of questioning some positions going forward if certain players can't stay healthy the entire year. But 4 players are out on Sunday. It's, Jalen Carter, Justin Evans, Darius Slay, and Quez Watkins. Jesus Christ, man. Questionable. Sidney Brown, Marlon Tuipulotu. We all know what Jalen Carter, is this going to make the Jets run the ball with Breece Hall on us? Probably. They're probably going to run the ball a lot more up the middle, but I still feel like this defensive line is still good. Okay, I'm not questioning this defensive line. Yes, you're missing a generational talent in Jalen Carter for one of the worst offensive lines in football when it's the New York Jets right now. Okay, this defense could still get pressure. Sean Desai will have to use some creativity and start blitzing these linebackers and start doing, running stunts or whatever the hell they're going to do. They can always move Graham to the inside for an inside pass rush. So there's a lot of options here the Eagles can go. I really don't have an issue with it. Hopefully Hassan Reddick has a bigger game. Hopefully, Nolan Smith could play a little bit more in this game. We'll see what happens because that's been kind of missed so far as a first-round pick this year. And there's just so much to go over because it's next man up. I mean, you're getting to the middle of the season almost, and you're going to be facing a lot of tougher teams going forward. Got to face Miami in a couple weeks or in a week and a half. Got to face the Bills. Got to face KC. You still got some divisional games you got to face. So, you got to start get things rolling here. The health of these players is what's most important. We're already trying to play our best football, which we're not playing up to par of our best football. Still undefeated, but we got to stay healthy, and that's the biggest question of the year when it comes to going from game to game and guys that are just getting hurt left and right. Justin Evans, man. Not only is Justin Evans out for this game, he's actually on IR. Justin Evans is going to be out for the next 4 weeks. And safety's a mess. And Sidney Brown's questionable for this game, so safety is a complete disaster. Okay? Now, the good news, going forward, and I think this involves the trade deadline, okay? There was rumors or a tweet that went out because of Jeremy Chinn that the Eagles have interest, that they are going to inquire or have inquired about a Jeremy Chinn trade, which I have been talking about pretty much the whole entire offseason, or to the whole season, to the offseason and to the season, if there was available trades for the Eagles to make, okay? To source believe that Carolina Panthers will look to sell at the trade deadline. The Philadelphia Eagles are expected to inquire about the availability of Panthers safety Jeremy Chinn. I am not surprised. Okay, hopefully it happens. Jeremy Chinn is a hybrid player. I think instead of getting a pure safety like everybody wanted, I think you have to get that hybrid guy that could play safety and could play corner. Okay. So you have a guy in the building like this. Panthers are still winless at this point, and you always have to go to the teams to trade. Get some draft compensation and get rid of some draft compensation for specific players. And Jeremy Chinn is definitely number one on my list to go get. Obviously losing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and then obviously losing Zach McPherson, Avonte Max. You start to get hurt at the nickel spot, and this is what happens. But still, I think the more hybrid players you have on this team, and if somebody gets injured, the defense won't miss a beat when you have a player that can move around like this. Since Chauncey, since Malcolm Jenkins, having him here, we haven't had that hybrid player since those two players really that could play both positions, but play both positions very well. So the Jeremy Chinn stuff, very excited to hear it, but when is it going to happen? I'm really hoping that this happens before the Miami game. I really do, because the Eagles, I don't think they can go into the Miami game like this. I don't think they can't wait another few weeks. There's only a few weeks left. The trade deadline is week 9. So you have, 3 weeks left until this whole thing is done with. And the Eagles, I heard the Eagles are going to be very aggressive. I've heard from multiple reports the Eagles are going to be really aggressive when it comes to, are going to be high price buyers. I don't know how much high price they're talking about, but apparently they're going to be big buyers for the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens. Justin Evans has been literally hurt his whole career. Okay, you guys got to know something. Justin Evans, that's why he was a free agent this offseason. Justin Evans has been hurt every year his entire career. The guy can't stay healthy. I think, obviously, he is. If Sidney Brown is out, I think he's the second best. He's the third best safety, in my opinion. Sidney Brown has been given more of an opportunity. Sure, I think he will become the best safety, or as good as Reed, or better. But Sidney Brown can't stay healthy either, and that's a problem right now. So safety is, I didn't think safety was a big question going forward, but there's no way I'm dealing with Terrell Edmunds the rest of the season. It is not happening. I am not doing it. I am not dealing with it. They got to go out and get a safety before the Miami game. They got to do it. They can't wait another few weeks. They are like right at the trade deadline in week 9. They cannot wait a day or two before. The Eagles' schedule is going to get harder in the second half of the season. So safety is the number one thing. I can't repeat myself more enough. It's just become a big problem. And then as far as the rest of the injury list, Quez Watkins, Jesus, man, like this guy, for a contract year, okay, for a guy that I don't think is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle after this year, the way the rate is going right now with Quez, okay, it's the Olamide Zaccheaus show, okay, which I think everybody really wanted. I hope Zaccheaus has a big game against the Jets. That's what I'm hoping in this offense, and because I think he showed some good promise, and I don't think he's too much. He's still a burner, but I don't think he is as big of a burner as Quez. But he is a smarter player, and I think is a better route runner on the inside. I think Quez is a better outside receiver than an inside guy, but that's just me. And some Eagle fans definitely think that as well. But I think with Zaccheaus, you're getting you're getting a guy that can get separation, has got the burner, could do a lot, and can catch the ball at times. So it is reliable. He's done a lot of the dirty work for this team. He likes to be involved with the blocks. I think he's one of the best blockers on this team as well. So hopefully Zaccheaus has a big day. Fletch is back, which is good. Marlon Tuipulotu is a light practice, questionable for this game. Nakobe Dean wasn't at injury designation. He was on the 21-day practice window. It looks like Nakobe Dean is going to play on Sunday, or is going to be active for Sunday's game. And they'll be able to keep him on the roster for this week because, Davis, Carter and a few guys are going to be out. So they could definitely afford to, keep Nakobe Dean on, at least for now. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, who they're, if Nakobe Dean's playing, who are they bringing down? Or, well, obviously, Justin Evans is on the IR, so that makes sense. So if he's on IR, he doesn't count against the roster. So Nakobe Dean will be able to, be on the active roster this week, and we'll see how this whole thing is going to fit now, and if Nakobe Dean's going to start in this game, because Morrow and Cunningham have played really well, and you don't want to break something up that's good. I'm trying to find a way for the Eagles to put Nakobe Dean on the active roster without hurting the rest of the roster. I think that's what's important here, because there's no way I'm sitting Morrow. There's no way I'm sitting Cunningham. There's no way I'm sitting Dean on the practice squad right now. Okay, throughout practice this week, the starting linebackers have been Nakobe Dean and Zach Cunningham. So I don't know if that means that he's starting this week or they were just giving him a lot of work. So we'll see what happens with that, but should be interesting. Rashad Penny was a full practice. Talking about a guy that's a waste of a roster spot right now because they don't even do anything with him. as well as Boston Scott anymore, really. Jack Stahl has a shoulder. He was full practice. So, yeah, you're missing four pretty good starters right now. Or at least with Quez Watkins' case, we'll see. But 4 guys are out. And, yeah, big play Slay. Oh, totally forgot. Slay is out of this game. Oh, man. It's going to most likely be Josh Jobe. I don't know if they're going to trust Eli Ricks, or I don't know if they're going to have somewhat of a rotation going into the outside corner spot in certain, maybe they'll use different corners for red zone or a different corner for open field. I have no idea. I'm not a fan of Josh Jobe. You know how I feel about these guys, making these one-on-one tackles when they play so far back, which, I thought they played better in the second half against the Rams. They pressed a little bit more, and they just played a little bit closer, which was great, so I can't complain about that. But let's see if they can keep this thing going. Yeah, I mean, when Bradbury was out, Josh Jobe took the spot. And now that Slay is out, your number 1 corner is out. And there's some good receivers for the Jets. It just depends on if Zach Wilson is going to get the ball out in time. That's where it is, okay? We'll talk about the Jets at the end of this video just a little bit. So that's your injuries. I mean, your starting corner, one of your starting receivers, your starting DT, and one of your top safeties right now, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Sidney Brown is questionable. So if you lose Sidney Brown and Justin Evans this week, then, man, down to Terrell Edmonds once again. Eagles got to make a move soon. So that's your injury list. And, man, we got to shorten this list a little bit. It's getting kind of crazy. Do I think that some guys could play Sunday? Sure. I think some guys could play. I think Nick really wants to. And I agree. I get it, because I don't. If Jalen Carter could play on an ankle sprain, then maybe he could. I don't know. If guys are maybe 80%, maybe Nick doesn't want to play them. Maybe Nick wants to be like, you know what? Because really, when you start playing guys injured, their injury's going to get worse and worse and worse, and the guys can't rest up and get their health up 100%, and they're dealing with an injury the entire year. And you don't want that, especially when you get into the playoffs, and God knows, how certain injuries are going to hold up when you keep playing guys when they're not 100% healthy. And if it's just being cautious, then fine, perfectly fine with that. I'm not going to say, oh, it's the New York Jets, who cares? I'm not like that fan that's going to say that and think that this game is going to be easy. And trust me, I hope it's a complete game. I hope we do some good things, but we'll see. To the active roster as well, Bradley Roby is on the active roster now, and will be starting at the nickel spot. So I think he definitely settled in the second half against the Rams at that nickel spot. So we'll have him full time there. Of course, nickel's fine now. Now we're back to the safety. Now we're back to the safety problem. I feel like every time we fix something, something else is unfixed, and then fixed, unfixed, fixed, unfixed. Holy shit, this won't stop at times. So really glad, thank God we have him. Thank God, because I thought he did a pretty good job. The first half was god awful with the, just how the side played these corners, but they were rotating guys nonstop in the first half of that Rams game. It was like Ricks and, Goodrich. It was just ridiculous. But I'm glad that they've settled down with Roby, and I really hope he stays healthy, and I really hope he plays a really good year this year. So I'm glad he is back at the nickel spot to kind of give us a little, little structure at that position where we feel very comfortable there with a nice savvy vet at that position. We talked about the trade deadline a million times already. There's a few players that are out there, because once we get closer and closer, these are just examples. This isn't like saying the Eagles would be interested, but there's just examples out there right now. We already talked about Jeremy Chinn being probably the number 1 target for Philadelphia as of right now, to try to make a trade for him. Jeremy Chinn was the second-round pick in 2020 that the Eagles should have got, okay? The Howie fist bump crap in the war room, that's when all that crap went down, between analytical department and the regular drafting department, just had some differences, and Jeremy Chinn was supposed to be a Philadelphia Eagle, apparently, from what we heard from rumors. I know that Frank Clark has been available, took a pay cut from the Broncos, and it looks like, he got released. And this, I wanted a defensive end, free agent this past offseason when free agency was going on. You had, Frank Clark and, Yannick Ngakoue, Leonard Floyd, like some of these guys, like I really wanted that would really fit in Philadelphia. Frank Clark is probably going to go back to Kansas City at this point. There have been rumors about it. Every damn ex-Kansas City Chief might be going back over there, so I wouldn't doubt it. Why wouldn't he go there, get a ring, whatever? He's not going to cost that much for the year anyway, but who knows? He might change his mind, but it would be nice to add a nice edge rusher and get Derek Barnett out of this rotation. If they're not going to play Nolan Smith, what's the point? So been kind of crazy. Cordell Patterson, another one that I think he was injured earlier this season. They played him for a couple games, or maybe they haven't really used him really the past couple. Actually, no, I don't think they even played him a couple games. I think they barely used him the past couple of games. They're not really even using him, period. So they might even release him, or they might trade him depending on, if they get any bites on him. They might just say, screw it, let's just release him. He can play running back, he can play receiver, he can play special teams. He's the jack of all trades, Cordell Patterson. He can pretty much do everything. I don't know if the Eagles would have any interest in this, honestly. If the Eagles don't trust Quez Watkins, then I think they make a play at another receiver. I don't know. I mean, they could, but Quez's hamstrings are not holding up, and, Zacchaeus is our prime guy, so really you need a number 4, and I don't think they have it. Covey's your number 5 right now. I don't think Covey will ever get a shot at wide receiver, and I don't think he's good enough to get at that spot yet, but there's always room if, I don't know. If they decide to put Quez Watkins on IR and he's just a waste of a roster spot where he's healthy, not healthy, healthy, not healthy every single week, just put him on the IR at this point and see what they could do. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think they're going to keep Quez. I don't think they're going to get rid of him or anything because they just think the highest bidding for him for some reason, they think very highly of him, and, they have trust that he will be healthy. But if he's already been hurt 2 times already, he came and his legs just can't hold up at this point. So, really going to the New York Jets. I mean, the Eagles should win this game. Okay, the Eagles have dealt with injuries. The Eagles keep fighting. The Eagles keep winning every single week. Injuries or not, the Eagles had injuries. The Eagles have had injuries every single game. Okay, and the Eagles keep winning. Okay, Zach Wilson should not clown this team, this defense. Okay, I don't care. Okay, this line is still great than a lot more defensive lines that are out there. We're missing that generational piece with Jalen Carter on that defensive line, but it's still good. Fletcher Cox is coming back, which is great. Okay, there's no excuse for that offense to do anything to us. Okay, because Carter is out, they're going to run with Breece Hall down the middle. They're going to give it a shot and try. I think the Eagles are still good. Okay, Zach Wilson should not have 3-4 touchdowns at 325, 330 yards on you in this game, because if that happens, I'm going to have a serious problem. Okay, the Jets have not beaten the Eagles in franchise history, and we're going to keep it that way this Sunday. And there's no excuse. I think the weapons are great. Wide receiver, I think they have weapons. I think they have a good running back. I don't question that at all. That quarterback, other than Daniel Jones, is the worst on your schedule this year. Simple as that. No excuse for it. I have more faith. And obviously I have a lot of faith in both sides of the football, the defense as well. Okay, the offense as well, I should say. I think you're going to run the crap out of Swift in this game. I think you're going to. You could run on this team. The red zone has got to look better. Jason Kelce, I'm glad Jason Kelce flipped out last week because I'm glad that somebody did. Maybe it will force them to change things down the red zone. Stop using Gainwell on crucial third downs, third and longs. Stop taking Swift out in red zone. Why? I don't know. Stop using Jalen Hurts' legs so much and making things so obvious. Okay? Got to get this thing going. I think this is Devontae Smith's big game going into this Jets game because I think Sauce is going to be all over A.J. Brown the entire game, most likely, unless they're not, because I think, we'll see what happens. But my main thing is Zach Wilson. You shut down Breece Hall. Make Zach Wilson throw. If they can't even sack him 3 or more times, I'll be shocked. Really, at the end of the day, Carter or not, I don't care. We have to. I know people are down because Carter's not playing, but guys, this line is still really good. So I don't know. I'm not going to be one of those fans that says, "Oh, it's the New York Jets." I'm not, because we might keep this game. It's not even that the Jets will keep this game close. The Eagles will keep this close. The Eagles will keep this coach. The coaching staff will keep the game close because of stupid mistakes or stupid play design. You know, I'm hoping not. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but you know. But it's been a 20-minute video. I don't want to kind of lessen this. I could talk about this forever. So make sure you go out and get a safety. And we have to deal what we have to deal with on Sunday. Because this team is showing toughness, resilience. It's amazing. It's amazing. And if they can get away with, especially another game with a lot of injuries, and they've done it before, did it against the Vikings. They did it. They've had injuries every week. Our list has gotten longer every single week to week. So, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. How you guys feel about the Jets game? What do you think these Eagles should do? Should the Eagles go after a safety? Quez Watkins, just give me all your comments. I want to hear everything you guys have to say. I don't care if it's 10 pages long. Let me know. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes about, follow, so peace out, guys. Peace.